What is the difference between ducks and geese? The wonderful world of water birds is teeming with all sorts of vibrant and colorful species, each with its own amazing story to tell. Today, we've decided to look at two popular examples of waterfowl, ducks and geese. Can you tell a duck from a goose? If you can't, you've come to the right place because that's exactly what we'll be focusing on in today's video. By the end, you'll have no trouble telling the difference between ducks and geese. With that out of the way, let's get quacking. Ducks. Ducks are perhaps the most well-known water birds around, given that they are a popular form of livestock and poultry. In fact, they're the second most common domesticated bird, behind chickens. When it comes to classification, there is a little confusion regarding what a duck truly is. However, the general rule is that a duck is any member of the Narrated family that is smaller than a swan or a goose in terms of body length, height, and weight. That means ducks are typically anywhere between 3 and 6 pounds in weight, while the other Narrated birds can be twice that or more. Height is mainly determined by the neck, and taxonomists refer to a neck bone standard. Ducks have 16 or fewer neck vertebrae, while swans and geese have between 17 and 24. Unfortunately, quacking is not a surefire way to tell a duck from a non-duck. While the old saying, "if it quacks like a duck, it is a duck," is true, not all true ducks quack. Some ducks coo, while others rasp, yodel, or whatever Daffy Duck does. The word duck comes from the Old English duke, which basically means to bend down below something or to duck. This is based on how many duck species upend themselves underwater to find food. There are well over 100 duck species, with the classic white domestic duck being the best known of all. Ducks are further classified into two main groups: diving ducks and dabbling ducks. You can recognize dabbling ducks by their tendency to tip themselves into the water when feeding. Diving ducks, in contrast, actually dive and swim completely underwater when pursuing meals. While duck is the generic term, there are specific terms for specific ducks. Males are known as drakes, while females are called hens, and the babies are known as ducklings. You can sometimes tell the difference between the sexes from plumage, if not size. Many Northern Hemisphere drakes are mainly easy to spot because of their bright and flamboyant feathers during the breeding season. These fashion statements are a way of showing off to the ladies in order to mate and sire the next generation. However, when the summer rolls around, the drakes lose the flashy feathers and resemble the plainer-looking females. Drakes in the Southern Hemisphere species seldom shift plumage like this and are similar to females all year round. Ducklings typically have downy, fuzzy plumage rather than true feathers. They are often a very different color from their parents. When it comes to physiology, ducks are perfectly suited to life as semi-aquatic birds. Their iconic beaks are long and flat to allow them to pierce through the water efficiently. The beaks are also lined with serrations known as pectins, which are especially pronounced in fishing and filter-feeding duck species. The long, narrow-shaped beak allows ducks to forage through mud and dirt in search of plants and animals to eat. Their feet are okay means of getting from point A to point B on land, but they truly excel in the water. Thanks to their webbing, duck feet are the perfect propellers for moving across the water. Again, some duck species have more pronounced foot webbing than others because of their specific behaviors and requirements in the water. When sitting on the water, a duck's legs work frantically under the surface in a running-like motion to move the duck forward. They work so well that above the surface, it often looks like the duck is effortlessly gliding along the water. Flight is another major part of life for all but a very few duck species. These birds are equipped with short, narrow wings for low, mid-altitude flight. Their flying style is characterized by sharp, quick flapping, and to facilitate this, ducks have very strong wing muscles and pronounced chests. Many species are migratory, which often involves routinely flying north or south in search of better weather and climate conditions. Some species in harsh environments like deserts or icy tundras are more nomadic rather than strictly migratory, moving only in search of better conditions rather than some built-in schedule or routine. In the wild, ducks have a near global distribution. Every continent bar Antarctica has at least one native duck species, but most have several. They range from the tropics to the Arctic Circle, and many have colonized a bunch of the world's most remote islands. Of course, given their migratory ways, many ducks simply lay over or briefly visit places rather than take them over permanently. They prefer a wide range of environments with plenty of water, with some species favoring freshwater areas and others opting for marine life. Domestic ducks have an equally wide range. The global duck market is worth billions, with duck meat and eggs being the primary products we harvest from the birds. Duck is an important source of protein that we have enjoyed long before we domesticated them, and raising them is a fairly low-cost and accessible form of animal husbandry. Geese. Geese make up another significant part of the Narrated family, along with swans and true ducks. Most true geese are classified under two genera: Branta, made up of the dark-breasted species, and Anser, home to pale-breasted species. A few Narrated birds, like the Egyptian goose, may have the word goose in their common names, but they are not classified in either Branta or Anser and are therefore not regarded as true geese. Goose is the general word for male, female, or baby geese, but a few specific terms can be used. A male goose may be called a gander, while a female is still a goose. Juveniles are known as goslings. A group of grounded geese is called a gaggle, while an in-flight group is known as a team, wedge, or skein. The term goose is derived from Proto-Indo-European languages and Germanic tongues. It was later adopted into Old English as goss, with geese and gandra tagging along for the plural and male names. Though very similar to ducks in almost every way, geese are different in almost every way. For starters, the average goose is markedly bigger than the average duck. A goose kind of looks like what you would get if a duck hopped up on some serious steroids. Geese can be more than twice the height and weight of even the largest duck species. Their necks, a major factor in their superior height, have anywhere between 17 and 24 neck vertebrae, which is more than the maximum of 16 neck vertebrae in true ducks. They also have a bunch of facial differences compared to ducks. Their beaks, for starters, are humped rather than flat and quite short relative to overall body size. Goose nostrils are positioned much lower down than ducks as a result. This beak is primarily used for grazing, and its shorter shape is perfect for cutting grass. Goose feet are also very similar to duck feet, though a bit larger and often with more pronounced webbing. They need this extra webbing in their feet to move their considerably bigger bodies just as efficiently as ducks. Unlike ducks, geese have very little sexual dimorphism in or out of the breeding season. Coloration, for the most part, is pretty much neutral. Whites, grays, browns, and blacks are the standard colors, and some species are a mishmash of all these colors. Size is also an unreliable way to tell the sexes apart, though ganders have the potential to be slightly larger than female geese. Like ducks, or more particularly ducklings, goslings hatch from a clutch of eggs and imprint on the first living thing they see. So if you happen to pass by an unattended nest of hatching baby geese, there's a good chance they might think you're their mommy and follow you everywhere. Also, like most ducks, most geese are highly migratory creatures, venturing great distances in search of better climes and richer foraging. However, some geese with abundant home zones or geese used to getting fed by humans are far less likely to migrate. When traveling long distances, geese are often seen flying in a V formation, like a bunch of other flocking birds. Not only is this flight pattern cool to look at, but it has real practical benefits. Chief among these is the reduction of drag for birds trailing behind in the formation. The bird at the leading tip of the V cuts through the air and creates a slipstream that sucks trailing birds forward, which reduces the need for frequent flapping and in turn saves energy. Generally, the largest and strongest geese in a flock take turns leading the flight V, with youngsters and weaker birds doing most of the trailing. When a goose family goes on migration, it is mainly the mama and papa goose who take charge and lead the formation. Another interesting fact about goose family dynamics is that geese are monogamous for life. A pair will stay together forever unless separated by extreme circumstances or death. This is quite different from ducks, who are only monogamous for a year at most and are open to new partners every new breeding season. Like their Narrated cousins, Geese play a prominent role in agriculture. They are a common form of livestock and perhaps the third most popular form of poultry, behind chickens and ducks. Again, meat and eggs are the primary products, though goose fat is also becoming popular around the world as both a delicacy and cooking aid.